2 months after the events of the second season, the new B Komachi is enjoying its best moment yet. Their song, Pop In 2, has climbed to the top of the national popularity charts, driven by an innovative music video created by Anime and Jimura. However, much of the impact also comes from Ruby, who breaks away from her former sweet image and adopts a darker, resentment-filled expression that strongly captures the public's attention. Riding this success, Emi M. Cho pushes collaborations with popular YouTubers and keeps the group's channel consistently active, boosting their visibility to a total of 360,000 subscribers. At the same time, Ruby begins to establish herself as an actress in major productions, while Aqua Hoshino also gains recognition. He appears on viral online shows, lands small roles in well-known films, and works as a model, showcasing an increasingly solid career. Although the group shows great chemistry on camera, things are different off-screen. Kana Arima grows emotionally distant and avoids spending time with the others, affected by the now official relationship between Aqua and Akane Kurokawa. Ruby, meanwhile, appears colder and more focused on her own goals. Even so, B Komachi's second concert is a resounding success. They sell over 1,000 tickets in just 1 hour and perform at a stadium reserved for top-tier artists. While fans celebrate, some begin to notice unsettling changes in Kana and Ruby, mistakenly interpreting them as signs of a new member joining the group. The reality, however, is far more painful. After the concert, Memcho talks with Kana and then decides to confront Aqua directly. During their conversation, she learns that he plans to study medicine and become a doctor, while continuing to work tirelessly on his entertainment career. Memcho scolds him for how he has treated Kana, but Aqua explains that his distance is intentional and meant to protect her from the dangerous fanaticism often found in the idol world. This revelation helps Memcho realize that Aqua is also suffering and acting out of concern. Later on, Aqua notices that Ruby has changed as well. She is now more strategic and ambitious. His suspicions deepen when she appears on the same program as him, revealing that Ruby herself arranged her participation. Determined to understand her, Aqua begins an investigation that leads him to Ichigo Saito, the original manager of Bikomachi, making it clear that Ruby is still hiding deeper motivations. Ruby proves that she still has many surprises in store when she manages to track down Ichigo Saito, the first representative of B Komachi and Ai's former manager. Her true goal is to obtain information from him about the people who were close to her mother before the incident. Although Saito is reluctant to get involved in a possible quest for revenge, fearing it could harm Miyako's agency and put him at odds with powerful figures in the industry, it is clear that he has played a decisive role in Ruby's transformation, making her far more calculating. The two made a pact. Saito would agree to represent the new B Komachi only if Ruby reached a level of fame comparable to Ai's. To boost her rise, Saito advises Ruby to appear more frequently on the controversial reality show in which Aqua participates, but he also assigns her a clear strategy: to build a persona completely opposite to her brother's. While Aqua projects a serious and analytical image, Ruby must present herself as sweet, naive, and clumsy. This contrast works, as Ruby manages to stand out on the program, arousing Aqua's suspicions, since he begins to sense that someone is guiding her from behind the scenes. Beyond shaping her public image, Saito teaches Ruby the importance of relationships within the industry. He advises her to treat assistant directors with respect and kindness, as many of them will eventually become influential directors. This is how we meet Yoshizumi, an exhausted assistant director who is being exploited at work and who is surprised by Ruby's considerate treatment, so different from the attitude he receives from his superiors. Through him, and with an explanation from Aqua, the harsh hierarchy of the industry is revealed, along with the immense pressure placed on the lowest ranks under the strict authority of director Urushibata. Tensions rise when the show plans a cosplay episode based on Tokyo Blade. Yoshizumi faces major difficulties securing cosplayers due to copyright issues. Ruby decides to help by inviting her friend Minami, while Yoshizumi turns to his sister, Mimi, a popular VTuber. However, at the last moment, the production loses the rights to the work, forcing them to change the entire theme. Although they manage to adapt at the last minute, Yoshizumi is pushed to the brink of collapse, fully aware that the success of the program and his own professional future hang by a thread. After completing the preparations, Ruby, Hoshino, Minami, and Mimi come together to work as cosplayers on the program. They are joined by Maya, an experienced cosplayer whose content is aimed at an adult audience. Although everything seems ready for filming, Maya feels uncomfortable due to the cold and disrespectful treatment she perceives from the production staff. The event begins on a positive note, and the girls enjoy showing off their elaborate costumes. But the atmosphere changes with the arrival of director Urushibara. After criticizing several cosplayers, he focuses his attention on Maya and conducts an interview filled with personal questions related to her adult-oriented work, making the situation extremely uncomfortable. Although she responds professionally, the experience leaves her deeply upset. After the event, Maya posts a message on social media denouncing the television industry's mistreatment of cosplayers, the indirect harassment, and the production's lack of respect. She also reveals that her Tokyo Blade costume was discarded at the last minute. The post quickly goes viral, triggering massive public backlash, widespread criticism, and a drop in the show's viewership. In response to the controversy, Yoshizumi, the assistant director, tries to apologize and persuade her to delete the post, but Maya refuses. Eventually, the program decides not to air the cosplay episode to avoid potential lawsuits. The situation takes a heavy emotional toll on Yoshizumi, pushing him into a personal crisis. At that point, Ruby proposes a solution, recording a special episode in which Maya is invited back to openly discuss the conflict and receive a public apology. Surprisingly, the production agrees to the idea. Ruby manages to convince Maya by emphasizing that the issue goes beyond her personal experience and could negatively affect future cosplayers appearing on television. During the debate, the production explains that the costume change was due to copyright issues. Through a report led by Kana Arima, the perspective of Abiko Samajima, the creator of Tokyo Blade, is presented. She explains that she strictly supervises all collaborations involving her work to prevent the exploitation of her characters. After learning this, Maya gains a better understanding of the situation and softens her stance. As a final gesture of apology, Ruby arranges for Urushibara to dress up as a Tokyo Blade character, publicly demonstrating respect for cosplay. The episode concludes with Maya accepting the apology and promising to delete her post, while Aqua begins to suspect that Ruby is no longer the naive girl she once was, and that someone else may be guiding her from behind the scenes. Ruby, noticing that Aqua is suspicious of her, decides to confess the whole truth to him. She explains that she merely replicated the strategies he himself used in the past, such as manipulating the controversy of a romantic reality show to solidify a fake relationship with Akane and turn her into a tool for his own benefit. Ruby explains that she was the one who planned the show's controversy from the very beginning, making it clear that nothing happened by chance. In reality, Ruby was never interested in Yoshizumi, but in Urushihara. After saving him, she forced him to repay her by involving her in all of the director's future projects, thus securing a constant presence in the industry and a steady growth in her popularity. In addition, Ruby intentionally invited Maya to the program, knowing that her history of scandals would trigger a media backlash. She admits that she used both Maya and Urushihara without remorse, clarifying that she never considered Maya a friend and that, in fact, she despises her for being a snitch. Ruby also expresses her hatred toward the sensationalist media that attacked her mother in the past. Aqua, seeing how far his sister has gone, shows deep disappointment and states that he misses the Ruby driven by passion and love, whose dream was to become an idol out of genuine vocation. Ruby, however, justifies her actions by saying that her mother also lived a lie by hiding the existence of her children. As time passes, Ruby's fame skyrockets. She wins the award for Best Female Artist of the Year, lands more modeling jobs, and leads the new Bikolachi to enormous popularity, constantly being compared to Ai. Although Memcho and Kana are happy about her success, they also feel stuck due to Ruby neglecting rehearsals. Meanwhile, Miyako faces more responsibilities as director, now supported by Yoshizumi, who becomes Ruby's personal manager. At the same time, Aqua tries to convince Ichigo to return and help Miyako, but he refuses, determined to take revenge for Ai's death. However, Ichigo reveals that Aqua is mistaken. The man he believed to be his father could not have been the killer, which implies that the real culprit is still alive. This revelation causes an emotional collapse in Aqua, leading him to isolate himself and reopening the dilemma between living a normal life or fully devoting himself to revenge. Finally, Akane, while shining as a breakout actress, discovers recordings of an old actor who looks very similar to Aqua. After analyzing them, she reaches a terrifying conclusion. The true father of Aqua and Taiki is Hikaru Kamiki, the real murderer of Ai. Akane, now almost completely certain that Hikaru is responsible for Aqua's mother's death, decides to investigate on her own to confirm her suspicions 100%. As she speaks with people close to Hikaru and gathers information within the Lalalai Academy about the relationships he formed during his time as an actor, every new detail only reinforces her theory. Even so, she chooses not to tell Aqua anything about his true father's whereabouts, knowing that he would not hesitate to fully devote himself to revenge. That same night, Aqua calls Akane and confesses that he loves her, and that she was the one who saved him during one of the darkest moments of his life. Indirectly, he asks her whether it is worth sacrificing one's happiness to fulfill a personal goal. Akane responds that she cannot make that decision for him, since Aqua does not belong to her, no matter how deeply she loves him. Even so, she assures him that if he chooses to continue his revenge, she would be willing to support him in order to ease his emotional burden. Meanwhile, Yoshizumi's sister becomes the target of a massive online backlash after videos are leaked in which she harshly criticizes other internet figures. Ruby offers her the chance to join Bikomachi. At the same time, Kana reflects on her own situation. Although the group is experiencing great popularity, her acting career has stalled, and she fears being overshadowed by Ruby. Determined to revive her career, Kana meets with director Shima. At first, he seems to genuinely recognize her talent, but he eventually suggests that he could help her rise in the industry if they both devote themselves to each other body and soul. Although Kana hesitates for a moment, she cannot bring herself to accept. Remembering her love for Aqua, she breaks down in tears, realizing that it will likely never be returned. Shima ultimately backs down and nothing happens between them. However, even though Kana reaffirms her determination to succeed through talent alone, a paparazzi photographs her entering a hotel with the director, foreshadowing a new media scandal. Over time, the lives of the members of Bikomachi seem to proceed normally. Ruby Hoshino begins to notice the growing media interest in her love life and reflects on how the idol industry has changed. Unlike in the past, when romantic relationships were kept secret to avoid devastating scandals, many public figures now handle their romances almost openly. Some even use controversy as a strategy to gain popularity and stay relevant. Ruby understands that scandal has become part of modern entertainment, and that idols' private lives are increasingly fragile. Meanwhile, Memcho and Kana Arima see on Trollvision the retirement announcement of an idol, something that affects Kana in particular. Memcho senses that her teammate is distracted and distant, and fears she may be considering leaving both B Komachi and the entertainment world altogether. Worried about the group's future, she decides to speak with Aqua Hoshino, convinced that he is the only one capable of influencing Kana. At first, Aqua refuses to intervene because of the feelings Kana has for him, but when he remembers that it was his support that pushed her to become an idol, and that she played a key role in the group's resurgence, he acknowledges his responsibility. The situation worsens when a reporter attempts to confront Kana about her alleged relationship with director Shima Daisuke. The press possesses a compromising photograph of the two entering a hotel together, foreshadowing an imminent scandal. The news reaches Ichigo Production, creating tension and concern. Overwhelmed by media pressure and the potential rejection from the public, Kana decides to hide. Miyako Saito is especially worried about her emotional state, aware of the impact that public scrutiny can have on a young idol. Remembering a moment they once shared at a baseball field, Aqua manages to find her there. Although Kana feels inferior and fears the public's hatred, she chooses to face the situation with determination. Seeing her regain her strength, Aqua decides not to intervene directly, trusting in her resilience. Meanwhile, Akane Kurokawa continues investigating Hikaru Kamiki, Aqua's father, unaware that someone is already watching her closely because of her dangerous search for the truth. The plot resumes the conflict following the scandal involving Kana and director Shima. At the agency, Miyako chooses not to scold her and instead calmly analyzes the situation. Kana apologizes to her coworkers and admits that she spent the night with Shima, though she makes it clear that nothing inappropriate happened. Miyako deduces that the magazine does not actually intend to destroy Kana's career, as it usually targets figures with greater media influence. In reality, the goal is to damage Shima's reputation by portraying him as someone who gets involved with younger girls. Kana then realizes she was used as a key piece to make the attack against the director more convincing. Memcho comforts her and promises to support her no matter what, while Ruby is deeply affected and says she would do anything to save her. That statement pushes Aqua to take action. He decides to meet with the journalist Kazuya to negotiate the removal of Kana's name from the article. However, the reporter refuses, arguing that including a well-known idol would greatly amplify the impact of the story. Aqua understands that scandal is part of the business and that many journalists rely on such publications to make a living, even if some, like Kazuya, do not take pleasure in ruining reputations. After being turned down, Aqua offers a far more explosive exclusive, revealing that the murdered idol, Ai Hoshino, secretly had twin children. The next day, the news breaks across all media outlets, completely overshadowing Kana's controversy. It is confirmed that Aqua and Ruby are those hidden children, sparking a wave of speculation about the father's identity and the secrets Ai may have kept. Ruby is devastated when she learns that her brother made the decision without consulting her. Upon hearing the revelation, Akane realizes that Aqua has resumed his plan for revenge against Hikaru Kamiki. Determined to help him, she investigates on her own, but suffers an accident after being pushed off a bridge. Aqua saves her, revealing that he had placed a tracker on her. After confronting each other about the secrets they had been hiding, including the information Akane had about Hikaru's whereabouts, Aqua decides to end the relationship to protect her and prevent her from carrying a revenge he believes is his alone. With that, he abandons any attempt at normalcy and refocuses on his goal, making Hikaru pay for everything.